Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another review of My Five Wives, Season 1, Episode 7, Wanna Know a Secret. Before I start off, I want to recognize what today is in the United States, which is Memorial Day. Now, some people say happy Memorial Day, but I never feel right saying happy in front of Memorial. For those of you who do not know, because I do have people who tune in that are not in the United States, Memorial Day is a day where we set aside to honor and remember the brave men and women who made sacrifices for the freedom of others. Their courage and their dedication is what allows me to even come up on this platform. And I don't say that lightly. So I just wanted to start off with this because I'd like for us to take a moment to think of their legacy and to express our gratitude for their service. I know for me, I am forever indebted to the people who fought so that I can be free. And I know people in my family that have fought so I can be free. So when I say this, I say with the utmost honor and respect, thank you for your sacrifice and for your commitment to the freedom of others. Hey guys, we're back. I told you all that there was something about Polly that came across as sneaky to me. I could not put my finger on it. And for some reason, in this episode, I now feel like I was right in my suspicions. There's something about Polly that comes across as disingenuous to me. And I think that she's sneaky. And because of how sneaky she is, I find myself struggling to get a read on her. But what we find out is that Paulie has been a time stealer because Rosemary basically let us know that Polly has been a problem for her since day one. But go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into this episode. So we begin the episode with the wives and Brady meeting, and he is announcing that after 4 months, he is finally going to take Rosemary to celebrate their 19th anniversary. So she is over the waiting to the point where when he announces it, you actually hear her say, finally. Now she laughs a little bit about it, but there's some truth to her in that finally, right? So, Rosemary reminds us about the rules when it comes to anniversaries and overnights. And there are a lot of times, she says, where because anniversaries and birthdays run so close together and that Brady is so busy that they often are behind schedule because he doesn't have enough time. To me, it's just another example of why polygamy can be complicated at times. Her anniversary has been put on the back burner for 4 months. So she is ready to go. Later that night, we see Rosemary. It's her night and Brady. She and Brady are enjoying each other's company, catching up on their day to day. They're in bed when he gets a phone call. Y'all, the moment that he got that call, I already had an idea of who it was, right? And we got another bird on our hands. And she's the bird that wants a cracker. She's Polly and she wants a cracker. That's what I'm just saying. Like she's giving Robin energy to me. So she's like, hi, hi. Yes, I'm calling because my window is broken and I cannot get close, I can't get it closed and it's really cold outside. I just I didn't know, like, could you come and close it for me? Yeah. Please, can you close it for me? Because it's just so cold outside. Now, she has called Brady out of all people because her window is stuck. and she needs Brady to leave Rosemary's house to come and clean her or to close her window. Now, it may seem like I'm picking here, but I don't understand why you needed to get him to do that. I don't understand why you couldn't get your other kids to come and help you close. Like, you're this little damsel in distress that can't close a window. I mean, oh no. So Rosemary's sitting right beside him, and you can tell she's annoyed. You can tell that she kind of already knows who it is on the phone. So she tells us that for 19 years, she's noticed that Polly has always required or had extra time with their husband, right? And she says that it tends to be when it's her time, not the other wives' time, but her time. I believe her. I really do believe her because for the most part, it seems like the other wives are kind of considerate of each other. Whereas with that, this is the second time I didn't seen an instance where he's been over Paulie's house when he's supposed to be at Rosemary's. Didn't I just say last episode that I felt like Rosemary was being slighted, and here we are a month later, and Rosemary's still being slighted? So Polly says to Brady's credit that he never does side with one wife against another wife, but that it also creates a problem when a wife feels like she's being taken advantage of. And she, at this point, feels like she's been taken advantage of for the past 19 years. I'm saying it multiple times because she says it multiple times in this episode. That is a problem to me. And I personally don't like the way that Brady dealt with it when she mentioned it in the episode later on to him, but we'll get to it. So Paulie heads over to, we don't even get to see him fix it. We just see him leave and her look sad. So it's another day, I guess, in the episode. Paulie heads over to Rhonda's to discuss her medical situation. She asks her if she plans on telling the other wives what's going on. She thinks that it's something that they should know so that they can be there for her. I personally wonder if Brady even knew at this point, which it seems like he didn't, based on the conversation that they had with her later. But why are you like hiding something that obviously is bothering you, and you know that Paulie knows, and you're thinking that maybe Paulie might not say anything? I think that Paulie's sneaky enough to say something, but y'all tell me what you think. So Rhonda is apprehensive because at this point she doesn't want to put that on the other ladies. Like, she does not want to tell the other ladies what's going on because she doesn't want them to worry about her, especially if it's nothing. Paulie tells her that they all love her and they care about her, and they just will probably want to be there for her. And she's reminding Rhonda that she's not alone. She wants all of them to be able to be there and pray for her the way they were the last time. Rhonda says when she had her last scare, them being there did make a difference, knowing that they all had her back. So it seems like it's something that she's going to consider. So we see Brady. He heads to the jewelry shop to get Rosemary's ring fixed, right? A few years ago, she broke it in half and hasn't been able to wear it since. I want to know, how do you break a ring in half? Like, I've never seen that done before, but she managed to break hers in half and she hasn't seen it for a couple of years. So what he wants to do is he wants to go ahead, get the ring fixed, and then have it ready for her by the time they go on their anniversary. So that can be like kind of a little anniversary gift to her, because he was supposed to get it fixed a long time ago. So the ring is looked at and it's determined that it can be fixed, but it's going to cost around $254 to do because it's a lot of gold and it's going to require a lot of labor. Brady's surprised because Brady thought that this was going to be like maybe $50 to $100, but he is willing to pay for the ring because he knows that she'll be happy. And the gentleman lets him know it will definitely be ready by Friday so that you can have it when you're trying to go, away on your trip. So we see Brady meet up with Robin's 20-year-old daughter. Do I have a picture of Robin's 20-year-old daughter? I don't know. I don't think so. Anyways, they go to meet up with the 20-year-old daughter. Her name is Hannah. He wants a tattoo and he's wanted it for the last 6 years. It seems like it's been more of an issue with his wives, though, rather than him. Hannah previously did a drawing for him years ago of a vine that has leaves on it, and he wants her to also add like the other leaves for the additional kids that they've had, and a ring that ties it all together. He wants her to do a fresher version of it because her skills have improved. He wants 5 vines representing each wife intertwined, leaves on each vine for the children of the wife, and a ring. He wants the tattoo, but some of his wives have been against it, and he's kind of been going back and forth on it. To me, the main people that he's concerned about being against it are the people that we later saw that seem to be against it, which is Rhonda and Polly. If you know that you want everybody to say yes, and you already know that the other wives are against it, I don't even understand why this is up for discussion if you're willing to allow them to determine what you do with your body. But for whatever reason, this is where we're going with it. So they have a poker night at Robin's house. Let me remind you who Robin is. They have a poker night at Robin's house. They'll be drinking wine, and Brady's going to be drinking beer. The winner of the hand that they're playing, while they're playing whatever version, because I'm not a card person. I don't know if they. I heard Texas Hold'em and something else. I should have wrote it down, but they're playing some type of game. And in the middle, they've like pre-written out things that could either be dares or gifts or gestures. If you win, you pick it up, you spin the bottle, and based on where it lands, that determines who gets what or who does what. So there's like a back or foot rub. Brady gets that. It lands on Rosemary to do, which apparently is a great thing because Rosemary is also, amongst all her other talents, a licensed masseuse. Rhonda ends up getting a night off from cooking because Brady has to do it for her instead. Noni is supposed to tell a secret, but she doesn't tell one. Noni be looking guilty. She's asked to tell a secret. No, yeah, I don't have one. I'm pretty much an open book, and you didn't even pause to think. It's given you do have a secret, and it seems like Robin is kind of looking at Noni like, okay, Noni, what are you up to? Anyways, um, she says that she does have a secret, but she would tell the other sister wives that she's planning on having a baby, but the only thing that's going to be going through their mind is if they're having sex. I don't understand why a baby is what equates that they're having sex. My assumption would be that you're probably having sex, on nights that you have them. But then again, to each his own. Everybody's, desire for that is different. I just don't understand why baby is the only time that we think that that man is sleeping with his wife. So Noni is supposed to get a 5-minute lap dance from Brady. Um, but the bottom of it says, or 1-minute lap dance from each wife. So she and him joke around about trading so she can get the massage and he can get the lap dance from all the wives. The next card pick from the center of the table. Rhonda reads it and her energy completely changes. So I thought it was going to be something bad or something like maybe she needed to tell a secret. But what it turns out is the card says Brady gets his next tattoo. And she's like, telling us how reading that card almost ruined her entire evening. That's a bit much for me, but I'm trying to remember that her belief system is her belief system. But there's no way that saying like a mention of a tattoo would make me completely like change my mind. Then again, I'm also somebody who has tattoos, but that's a whole nother story. So Brady says it may be his body, but they're in a partnership. And the things that he decides to do to his body will have an effect on the wives. So he's been going back and forth, as I said, about this tattoo for 6 years. And he's going around the table asking each wife how they feel about him getting a tattoo. So Robin says she'll like it. Rosemary says she thinks it will be hot on him, which means, yeah, I like it. Noni is hesitant because she says she's not sure how she would feel about it on her. Or I can't remember if she said on her how she would feel about it. Either way, with Noni, she says it's okay if he chooses to do it for himself. Paulie, on the other hand, isn't sure. The more and more that I watch this, the more and more I see that Paulie has hints of the bird along with hints of Mary, because you know whether or not you want your husband to get a tattoo. You can say it, but for whatever reason, she's not going to say how she truly feels. I think Paulie is kind of like Mary, where she tries to feel everybody out and see what they're saying. And then based off of that, she then maybe tells her opinion. So he wants to know like what her concern is, what she's worried about. And she says she's not sure what she's worried about. She just knows that she hasn't given enough thought. So Brady's like, okay, well, can you think about it within the next week? I said, wow, he really is trying to get this tattoo and he's not playing games. He wants you to answer within the next week, because more than likely, she probably takes a little bit longer to come to him with a decision on a matter. So he's giving her a week to figure it out, what her thoughts are on it. So she tells us that she was taught not to mark your body in any way, that you're supposed to treat your body as a temple, so no holes and no tattoos. She says that she doesn't believe that way anymore, as evidenced by the piercings that we see in her ears, but she's still not sure. She wonders if Heavenly Father is going to judge them for making these decisions. As I heard her speaking, I could kind of understand where she was coming from, because as I've said before on this channel, I was raised in the Seventh-day Adventist religion, and old school Seventh-day Adventist is switched up a little bit as far as what they're allowing, but old school Seventh-day Adventists do not like wear jewelry for real. Even some of them, you don't even see them wear wedding bands. Like they don't wear. I wasn't allowed to pierce my ears. I definitely couldn't have any tattoos. I remember when I was 7, I was with my grandmother that passed. My dad's mom, and I used to spend like every summer faithfully with her, every summer. And that particular summer, my grandmother had my ears pierced. And I remember when my mom got me, my mother was hot. I mean, hot. Funny thing is, I have like 2 holes here and then my cartilage. I don't really wear my 2 holes here often, but I always have my cartilage in for whatever reason. Anyways, she was hot. And my mom told me to take them out because I wasn't supposed to have them. And she didn't know this. She threw them away, y'all. I went back in the trash. I got them. And what I do is I wear them at school because I didn't want my holes to close. So I wear them at school and then I take them out. And she always be like trying to like feel and see. She'd be like, you know, I don't think your hole is closed. I'm like, I don't. Needless to say, my holes never closed. But I get what she's saying about having, to deal with that. But I think that that's something that you got to do with your own. I feel like you can go down a whole rabbit hole when it comes to markings with tattoos and all those other things. Like I remember with my tattoo, my mom got so mad at me about that. And I was like, you're acting like it's something hateful. To me, if it's not anything hateful, I don't think God has a problem with tattoos and piercings. But that's just my belief. You can tell me yours. So for Rhonda, it's a no. Brady asks her, given what you're saying, um, okay, did I skip something? No, because I did the whole thing about, okay, so Robin's, she's going to think about it. He asks Rhonda. Rhonda says no. She doesn't feel like it's right. So he's like, given what you're saying, should I have a problem with my wives coloring their hair? I said, oh, we're going here. Noni adds or piercing their ears. I think it was Noni. It was either Noni or Rosemary, one of the two of them, because they were closer to each other when it was said. Noni says that they were raised to look at their ancestors as examples. Not Noni. Noni didn't say that. I'm lying. Rhonda said that they were raised to look at their ancestors as examples. She saw her ancestors with pierced ears, but she didn't see them with tattoos. I mean, your ancestors were older, probably. I mean, did they have access to a tattoo gun? Like, was it something they were about? I just feel like that's semantics. So Noni says, Brady, you loved us whether we did or didn't pierce our ears, and ultimately it's up to you. Brady says, that's the same thing that he told the leadership when the leadership came to him and said that his wives need to take out their earrings. And he said, who am I to tell them that? It's their ears and they could do what they want. This is what I want to know more about. I want to know more about the areas in which leadership had a problem with them. I want to know the nitty gritty. I understand that there's certain things that you can't reveal because you're trying to protect your kids, but this is a prime example of one of the reasons why we watch these things. We were interested in these things. You're telling us you left because your belief systems didn't line up anymore. But why? What exactly? I saw recently in the comments where it was even said that he had a crisis of faith, kind of like I guess what Cody had. Well, Brady's is different because he actually seems to believe in this. But he had a crisis where he's not even sure about plural marriage anymore. I want to look more into that. But it just goes to show you that there's so much more to this than what we're getting. So on to Rhonda. Y'all, this might be unpopular. I am not trying to sound insensitive when I say this. I want to know, how long has Rhonda known about the lumps in her breast, that she waited until right before Brady was about to go on his trip with Rosemary to tell him about it? Because the story kind of changed a little bit, because the last episode she said something about having an appointment for a physical and a mammogram scheduled, and this episode she tells him that she's going to schedule one. So my question is, did you film this out of sequence? My other thought process is does she mean that she just found out about the lump a week ago, like they just confirmed that it was a lump a week ago? Or does she mean that she just found out about the lump like she was feeling and she felt it? I'm a little, confused on it. So Brady is coming in to say goodbye to Rhonda and the kids because he's about to go on his trip with Rosemary. Before going, he asks her if she can cut his hair. We don't get to see the cut. We just see what happens at the end, which looks like she kind of pushed all his hair forward and evened it out a little bit. So as he's about to go, she's like, "Do you have to go right now? Because I kind of need to talk to you about something." And I just knew right then and there, like, she's about to bring this up. So, and here's the thing. I understand that when it comes to this, that there is no right time to tell someone. I'm not trying to sound like I don't get that. I know that one of the things that was really really hard for me with my aunt is when she finally did let us know about the status of her cancer, she still wasn't like telling us everything. Like we didn't know how bad it was because she was still trying to process things herself, as well as she didn't want, us to worry about her, right? Because once it's out there, no matter what you try to do, it's something that you worry about. So I understand either way, it was hard for her to tell him. I just don't understand why she didn't tell him like before he was about to walk out the door. Because of course, naturally he's going to want to stay there with her and comfort her. So she tells him that she's nervous. She doesn't want to ruin his weekend, but she's worried about the whole breast cancer thing again. Every time she says this, she says the whole breast cancer thing again, like she's trying to disconnect, which shows how scared, in my opinion, she is. She says she's nervous and he always calms her down. She just needs him to tell her that it's going to be okay. And she hugs him and she kind of cries in his chest. He hugs her and tells her that, of course, it's going to be okay. Um, I don't know how I felt about it. I kind of wanted him, and this goes back to me saying kind of why I didn't like the time. I kind of wanted him to sit there with her in that moment, but I also understood why he felt like she's telling me to go, I need to go, because that would have been Rosemary being slighted again. And what can he do in that moment? It's a Saturday. She can't make any appointments or anything right then. It would just be him comforting her. But at the same point, I feel like if the roles were reversed and I was given a health scare, that I would want my partner to be there with me. So you see where I'm at with it, y'all. I'm all over the place. So he says he's concerned. He tells her that they need to get on top of this. He asks her if she's going to get it checked, if she's going to get a mammogram. She says, "Yeah, I can call and get something scheduled." This is where I said I thought that she already said that she had something scheduled. He wants to know if she's felt lumps. She says yes, but that it's always been there. which implies that this is the same one from before. He wants to know, has it changed? Has it got larger? Has it repositioned itself? Does it feel like it's somewhere? Like he's asking a whole bunch of questions that she's struggling to answer. He wants to know if it's changed or if it's in the same space they found, the last scare. So she says, yeah, it's pretty much in the same area. He's like, pretty much? Is it a different one? He's legitimately concerned. Apparently, she has always had this lump and it's supposed to be followed up on all the time. She first had it after one of her kids and she was supposed to, no, she found out about it or something. She said she's supposed to follow up on it. She got pregnant. Then she, got pregnant again. Then it was a problem with the finances. And because of that, she didn't follow up on it. That's scary because if it were something serious, that is the difference between stage 1 and stage 4. Ladies, if we feel something like that, it's important. And gentlemen, because men get breast cancer as well, that we, seek treatment. We seek some type of medical advice. Yes, it's scary, but we gotta be on top of these things. So he now wonders if he should even go. She tells him to go and have a good time. He's like, Rosie won't mind if I cancel. And she tells him, please don't. She tells him how hard it is when she tells us how hard it is when she finally opens up and he has to go. And I just feel like she's telling the truth. I just believe that something about this is off. Like, what aren't you saying? Yeah, something about it is off to me. I can't put my finger on it. It just, even when he was asking her the questions, she seemed hesitant to answer. I don't know if it's because of the cameras. I'm going to attribute it to the cameras and maybe editing. All right, so um later we see Noni call over Rhonda to tell her that her and Brady have decided that they're going to have another baby. I get that the both of them want to have kids, but it was weird to me that she said this. It was weird to me that she called her over there to tell her that, especially after she told us it's something that she's probably not going to tell the wives. So Rhonda is excited for her. She's glad that she trusted her enough to share it. I think Rhonda looked excited, but I think part of Rhonda was trying to convince herself she was excited. So Rhonda says, I know before we said we wouldn't share this, but when you say that, the first thing that goes to my mind is, oh, Noni and Brady are going to have fun. And she laughs about it. And then she's like, I'm glad you shared it with me. She tells her she's happy for her. She says, I love your kids, Noni, and I love you. I think that this is going to be good. Noni doesn't know when. She didn't say, did she? No. Why do I have that written here? I think that this is good. I think they were always having fun. Oh, that was my own voice. So Noni doesn't know when or if she's going to tell the other ladies. Rhonda tells her that, she can imagine that they would be happy for her, but whether or not she tells the other wives is on her. It was a segment I could have done without. So let's talk about the trip. Brady is on his trip with Rosemary. They arrive at a much better looking bed and breakfast than the one that we saw him and Noni go to. Rosemary reserved this one because they had went there years before and she loved it. This one, it has a beautiful view of the lake. It has a huge tub that has rose petals in it, and it also has a huge bed with rose petals in it on it. Rosemary points out that she's not accustomed to having rose petals. She's never gotten that before. Brady, you need to tighten up. They even got fake ones. You got to tighten up. Show your ladies some romance. I think romance is important. I think scheduling date nights are important. I think showing your person that they matter to you is important, especially because life is life and things are extra busy and extra hectic, and tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So you don't want to not be appreciative of your people. And that's not just in relationships. I think that's important to show your friends that you care as well. So Rosemary and Brady go by the water. He lets her know that he fixed her ring. He gets on his knee and he's about to put the ring on the wrong finger. As much as these men, anyways, he's about to put it on the wrong finger, but he fixes it. So, or she puts her left out towards him. He lets her know he fixed the ring and she's very happy. She's like, "Would you, do it all over again?" He was like, "Yes, I will marry you again and again." Rosemary is crying as she talks to us. She says she feels like she's been in a storm forever. And in this moment, the sun broke through the clouds. Y'all, we're missing something here. I think this is yet another case of women that are very unhappy in their polygamous marriage. I think that they have a husband that is much better and a lot more considerate than the other ones that we've seen, but it's still too much to expect for one man to fulfill the needs of 5 women and 24 children. It's not realistic. And I feel like what we see in a lot of these ladies is sadness and loneliness, and even maybe in some cases, depression. It just seemed like for her to say that from getting this ring, that's what she felt. Like, did you feel like you didn't matter because it took him this long to fix it? Like, I don't understand what we're missing. So back at home, the ladies go out, and Noni points out how this is her first time being in Polly's car. I don't think that they hang out with each other one on one as much as we think. It's giving like the Browns where they're doing things for the sake of their children, but it seems to me like some of them don't get along. And it just so happens that I think Noni and Paulie have issues. I think that Rosemary and Paulie have issues. I think that Noni and Robin have issues. I think Rhonda and Rosemary are the least unproblematic, at least from what I've seen so far of the bunch. I think Robin is too. I think that Robin to me, based on the way she often looks sad when Brady talks about leaving and stuff like that, she needs monogamy because she really, really misses her man when he's gone. Okay. So as they're driving, I can't help but notice the beautiful mountains behind them covered in snow. I've never been to Utah, but looking at some of the landscape and some of the views, I think I want to go. Like, it is beautiful. Y'all, I love snow. I love fresh snow. Let me be clear. I love snow in areas where people know how to handle snow, because snow where I live, they act like they don't know how to function. Versus when I was in New York, like, yeah, we could clear the road and go. We went to school in the snow. So it's just, a different thing. Anyways, beautiful view. So they arrive at this restaurant, they eat, they talk, they laugh, they joke, they talk about the game from the other night. Overall, Robin is still wondering what secret Noni has. Noni's still ducking it. And she says to us as she smiles that Robin may not want to know, which goes back to me feeling like there's something with the two of them. Y'all tell me what you think. So we see Brady and Rosemary are out for their anniversary dinner. And for whatever reason, Brady wants to talk about her relationship with her sister wives on their anniversary. When I am out with you on a date, especially on an anniversary, don't come to me talking about the other chicks. Because what Tisha is going to do is Tisha is going to change the subject. I wish I would go out on a dinner date with my man and he's talking to me about his baby mom. Excuse me, the mother of his child. I don't want to talk about that right now. We can talk about that when we get back to the house or when we get in the car, but we're not going to talk about that on date night. No. That's all I was thinking when he was saying it. Brady is asking how things are going with Paulie because they had a pretty rough go there. I'm feeling like this is production. Like they were asked to talk about this because it's odd the way it just out of nowhere and how he says it, and why are you just now trying to address it? And are you really concerned or not? So I want to know, what the backstory is with that. So he wants to know why they had a rough go. He's like, remind me why you had a rough go. That's production. Rosemary says, I'm quoting, "Everything has been an issue since the dawn of time in our marriage. I feel like she's taking my time with you. The last few years, it feels like it's been on purpose, meaning I've always felt like she's taking my time, but these last few years is feeling a little bit more deliberate and intentional." Brady says, Do you think that way because, you didn't talk to her about it and it blew up? She tells us that the problem is that she did not make a big enough deal about it, that she has brought it up to Brady over the years, but it just never gets resolved. And it doesn't get resolved because Brady does not pick a side. I think, what did I write? I think him not taking sides at times does cause a bigger problem. I've always been under the guise of right is right and wrong is wrong. If I see you as a wife doing something that may come across as wrong, I'm going to check you on it. Maybe not in front of others, but I'm going to call you out. And it doesn't seem like Brady does that. We saw this in the whole situation with Paulie and Noni, how Noni was real over the top. But he didn't at one point tell Noni she was wrong. He just kind of let her kind of go over the top and was like, what's the real problem behind that? And I get it. He's trying to keep things, calm, but there's issues there that the pile of dirt is just piling up and it's going to cause resentment. So Brady's now trying to say that it's on him because what happens is that he may be trying to fix a problem and it spills over into her time. No, it's on the person as well. It's on Paulie as well, because you all have been married at this point with her celebrating her 19th. 19 years you've had Rosemary in this family. Paulie should know the schedule. They know each other's nights. Paulie is well aware that he's about to go to Rosemary's. Up is 5:56. I mean, that's what time it is on my end. It's 5:56. He's gonna be at Rosemary's at 8 o'clock. So if it's his night, why are you going to cause a problem or hold up something when it's his night to go over there? It does come off as, yeah, she's doing it on purpose. Y'all tell me what you think. Maybe I'm off here, but those are my thoughts. But my thing is, the other problem is you keep jumping when Paulie calls. Paulie and that window thing, that wasn't that big of a deal for her to call you. I don't think she really tried. And I wish that they would have shown you trying to close that window because I have a feeling it wasn't a hard task. So Rosemary says that she understands that he was trying to put out fires, but it's happened so much to her on her night with Paulie that it feels personal. It probably is. Here's the thing. Rosemary may have a little bit more weight on her than the others. I think that Rosemary is beautiful. I don't know what it is about Rosemary, but she was the one at the first episode that I was like, oh, like and then hearing more about her and some of the things that she's been through based on what the fam has put in the comment section, I have even a deeper little soft spot for her. So Brady says, it's circumstances that caused it to happen. It's not a vendetta. She says, yes, she's crying at this point. Brady, you're not acknowledging her feelings. Because at some point, there's some truth to this. And you're kind of telling her, like, I know that's how you feel, but that's not what it is. When for her, that is what it is. Two things can be true. It could be that some of it is your fault, but it could also be that Paulie or whomever else is causing some problems there. Look at what happened with the bird. They thought what the bird was doing wasn't intentional. And look at how she mashed up that family. Anyway, let's keep going. So Rosemary says, I need you to care about us enough not to do it anymore. He tells her he won't do it anymore. He won't let it get to where he's taking advantage of her anymore. Can you make it so that your wife doesn't take advantage of her anymore either? Because if you don't deal with Paulie, it's still going to be a problem. So he tells her to stop crying. He didn't mean to make her cry. They're going to go back and enjoy the roses on the bed. All right. So they're back at home. Soon as he gets back, he tells her he loves her. First place he stops at is Rhonda's house because he needs to check on Rhonda, because although he was with Rosemary, he admits that he kept thinking about Rhonda. He's concerned and he was worried about her all night. She tells him she's going to get everything checked. She'll call and make an appointment. She claims that she found out about this a couple days ago. I already told you I don't get the whole time spirit span, especially with her doing an x-ray at some point with Paulie's daughter there. I don't get it all. Anyways, she said nothing has been found out. She knows the symptoms of cancer, and with her family history, she's concerned. I wonder if some of her worry is heightened because of what she's experienced with her mom, which is legitimate considering. Later at the adult meeting, she talks to the wives and lets them know what's going on. She says that she's having the breast cancer thing going on right now. I hate that she keeps saying the breast cancer thing because, as I said before, you're not like, yeah. So Brady says she's playing it down. It's scarier, and then she's making it out right now. There's a lump. Um, I think that Brady is trying to advocate for his wife. She tells them that all she needs for them right now is to just pray for her. The last time they prayed for her and blessed her, so they're going to do it again. She sits down. They lay hands on her to pray over her. This isn't much different from what I've seen at times in church. Like I've seen where intercessors have, touched someone in an area where they are firm, having infirmity and things of that nature. Like if you grew up in certain churches, you've seen this done. But they basically pray over her and have faith that she will be okay and she will be healed. As Brady is about to touch her head, he becomes very emotional. Um, he says, Rhonda Lee Williams, we lay hands upon you at this time in order to give you a blessing. And he begins to give that blessing. All of the wives are praying. Some of them are crying. Rhonda talks about how immediately as they were praying, at some point she could feel her posture change and peace come over her. And as they gave her that blessing, and for the first time, she felt peace in the situation. She tells them after they're done that it's going to be okay. She lets us know that she's grateful for them and their support. And this is one of the blessings and the joys of polygamy. And that's where it ends. I really, really hope that I did not come across as insensitive when I said what I said about her and her lump. I believe her. I want to make that clear. I believe that she found something there. I'm just confused on the timeline, and it may be because of editing, but yeah, that's where I stand with that. As I said earlier in the video, it's Memorial Day. I hope that you are reflecting in whatever way works best for you. Thank you to those of you who allowed for your family members or supported your family members in their sacrifice of serving this country. I hope that we all remember those who are no longer here as a result of that sacrifice. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.